Dennis, and even though you were well up at half time on Friday, you were that enamoured with the first half performance, were you?
Enamoured's a really strange word to put. I was pleased with some of the stuff we did. I've just felt that we lacked a bit of composure and maintaining some field position, but we were getting beaten up at the ruck. We were losing collisions, which was leading to penalties, which was putting us on the back foot, and then the amount of energy we had to put in to protect ourselves. Like our goal line D was sensational throughout the game. I know that the scoreline doesn't really look that way or reflect it at the end of it, but we had to do so much defending inside our own 20. It was like a training session, and we just kept repeating our sets, going after each other constantly. And I thought it was a pretty strong effort, if I'm honest, about how we defended. And I was more disappointed with a couple of tries from dummy half, from barge over, and from the chip and chase. So it's not something that we talk about and we do, and we don't practice it, and it's not, like I said, we don't practice a chip and chase, and it was more like it wasn't really a chip either. It was too easy for him to control, and that's what frustrated me a little bit, that point there. But yeah, when you look at the first half, and I said to the players, I said, when I watched the game back, this is not a game we should have won. But it's a game we could have won. And that's if we'd have been smarter at certain things. If we'd have kicked the ball into touch when we had penalties, if we'd have kept hold of the ball in the first place and not lost it, if we'd have not kicked the ball away on tackle 3 on a 7-tackle set, if we'd have kept hold of the ball on a 7-tackle set for more than 2 tackles, it's those kind of things that were frustrating.
And the second half was a bit like the Alamo, wasn't it? It was all going one way, and I think the physicality of Wigan was just a bit.
I think they came out and went after us, and we didn't. We knew what was coming. You always know what's coming. How you handle it and what you do. That's where the key moments in the game are what you do when you get opportunities against Wigan, because you know what's going to come. You know what they're after, and if you don't find a way of actually breaking that momentum when you do get a penalty, when you do get opportunities, then it's just relentless. And I think in the second half they came out and we gave them. I think we started okay, and there's a couple of tough calls. The first couple of sets in there, when we're in there 20, and they knock the ball out. It's a knock on, and it's been a knock on for the last 2 years. Even if you're looking at the ball and not looking at the ball, and we don't get the ball back for another set of 6, which puts them under pressure. The momentum of the game changes. They get a penalty the next set, and we don't get out of our half for 5 minutes. Those kind of calls sort of hurt us a little bit. Could we do better in backfield? Yeah, but I think Wigan did a real good job on us, and we were. Again, it's not a game when you look back and you see the stats and you see where we were, it's not a game we should have won anyway.
You had a few seasoned Debbingtons in the team. They were benefiting from the game, I'm sure. How do you think they went on?
All right. Again, it's just a tough game to go, and it's the question I put to them, and this is the same with anybody that comes back into the side or starts into the side. It doesn't matter if it's your first game or your 20th game. You have to deliver a certain standard of performance, and I felt that we were lacking in a couple of areas from those players, especially on the second stints. And that's just where they are. But I'd say they need to play. They need to find them more game time. This week we're pretty fortunate that because it was a short turnaround going into Wigan in 5 days, on the back of a pretty physical game the week before, we had a couple of lads that were carrying bumps and bruises that we could have compounded, could have made worse. So we had a decent sized squad, we had plenty of healthy bodies, so we used our squad. It gave them game time, it gave us time to recover properly. So your Chris Houstons, your Christian Inus, your Chris Deans, they come back into the mix this week and give us a lot more punch.
Is it basically those 3 that you're looking at bringing back in?
And Jordan Johnson as well has come back from London just to give us again. He's been away, and it was unfortunate for Jordan as well. Like I say, Danny Walker and Aaron done a great job over the last month while Lloyd's been injured. Jordan would have played some part in this last month if he'd not been out on loan. Well, we sent him out on loan and lost 2 hookers the next day. So Jordan will be back in the mix and have an opportunity this weekend as well.
Who's still out? You didn't mention Lloyd White there has been back this week. Is he still?
No, Lloyd's again. It's managing him properly to make sure that we get a long period of time out of him when we get him back now. And we've fallen into this trap a couple of times over the last couple of years of rushing players back in because we wanted to get what we thought was our best players on the field and then not being 100%. There's no need to rush Lloyd back now. Yeah, we want to get him 100%. So when he does come back into the side, he can stay in the side and not fall out from a reoccurring injury. So we're just working him to a point where he's ready to go for a number of weeks.
And what's Lloyd's issue?
It's just a calf, just a strain in the calf. But like I say, they're quite sensitive kind of area of the body.
Huddersfield this week, and they've been a bit up and down, even within games actually, never mind between games. What have you made of them so far this year?
They're looking to put some consistency together. I think that's, like I said, we've had some good patches and some parts of their game which they need to work on, and I think they recognise that. The win against Warrington was a big boost for them, but again they've had to travel some tough places, and it's been a tough start for them. St Helens in there as well, and then going to Wakefield on the weekend. I don't know if anybody's seen the game, but it's not the prettiest of places to play. The fog's in and the ground's awful, and Wakefield are on a roll. So they've had a tough start with their fixtures, but I think you can see there's lots of potential in that team. Like you say, with Kumatai and Ikehifu and Mamo at the back, and Danny Brough in there as well. It's a side that's full of quality and full of good people.
And Jermaine McGilvray, of course, who played so well for you in there.
I know, yeah, you just stay away from Jermaine. Don't kick the ball to him. That's the potential, yeah. And when he does carry it, make sure you get plenty of people around him.
People always talk about Danny Brough's kicking game, don't they, when Huddersfield come to town. I don't know how old he is now, Danny, but it's still a threat, that, isn't it? It still gives them field position.
He's a fantastic kicker of the ball, yeah. I think Rankin's been doing quite a good kicking for him as well, but Danny Brough's left foot is, like I say, he's probably the best in the competition. He's an overall competitor. He's just, like I say, he's a good player, and when he wants to play, you've got to be on your ball to make sure that you can get there. You have to stop him.
You've still been competitive in most of your games, but the second half we're doing the least competitive part of rugby. Still with confidence high in the camp that you can get.
Yeah, we rotated our squad a little bit on the weekend. We had some not substandard performances, but we'd come back we went to probably the most physical team in the competition with one training session on half a pitch. I know everybody had the same there. It's just after quite a physical game 4 days before. It's not a level playing field at times. When you run into a side at Wigan, it's their first home game of the year. So we're looking at it from the point of view where we did compete. We just didn't win any of those competitions. We lost a physical battle against a side that is at home for the first time this year. They're coming off the back of a loss that they feel aggrieved about, and the most physical team in the competition. It was a tough place to go. We were 16, should have been 16-0 up at half time. We deserved to be up on the scoreboard because of how well we defended and what we did when we got on the ball. And the second half we just lost a little bit of energy because of how hard it had been on the turnaround. So we were competitive against a very good side.
You just go back briefly to Kristen, you missed the game because of illness, right? Are you happy that he'll be back?
Yeah, if it had been late in the year and it had been a semi-final or a massive game for us, Chris probably would have pulled his boots on and taken some medicine and got on with it. But it's early in the year, he's been in bed for 3 days. Again, it's a 5-day turnaround or a 4-day turnaround, and he's spent 3 days in bed. We could have dragged him out of bed, stuck him on the field, give him some Lemsip and let him go. But it was the smart thing to do to make sure that he's fit and healthy and we can go in again, and hopefully there won't be any reoccurring problems through forcing him to play when he's still not recovered from spending time in bed. And it's just that time of the year. Something jumped out of nowhere. He got the flu and had to spend some time in bed drinking soup.